Okay, we just faced some resistance there by the camera not focusing, so we had to restart the computer. But what I was saying is that I made a connection a couple days after this experience with my hat, where I realized that it was more than just, I realized it was important before, and I was thinking about it. And then I realized that it was actually very specifically important to me in another way because of my knowledge of Jed's books, specifically the second one, specifically tied. I was making the mental connection to when Ahab sees the white whale and jumps out of the fucking boat and leaps into infinity after his thing with a 6-inch knife and no other plans. And then so that I made that connection. It was really exciting. I was like, holy fuck, I did that. I had like a jump, leap after a thing instantaneously, like blah, blah, with no thought, into the ocean, the actual ocean. Like I got to play that action out. So that was significant to me. But the fact that the first line that you chose to read was the Ahab line, immediately was like, holy fuck. I mean, I don't know. That is just, and specifically tied to all the discussions we've been saying today, is the specific phrase I put my finger onto was, so I did what I do and obeyed the prevailing winds as soon as I detected them.
Boom. Okay.
I mean, that is what it is. Holy shit.
So, you just got experience of, if nothing else, you probably got some interesting information about how to do bibliomancy. Can I tell you a funny bibliomancy story? So, I'm a former Mormon. Yeah, Mormon. We're the only right religion.
Mormons. It was the Mormons that were correct. Yes.
And I found my old scriptures, and I was with some people who were moving on from the church, and we were talking about it. And I taught them about bibliomancy, and like, for the hell of it, I said, well, let's do it with the scriptures. And dude, the answers were like mud. They were just inane. It was weird. They aren't useful. Some people, I'm sure the scriptures are very useful to be used that way. Very useful. For me, they didn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not something... It's not a science. I don't know. I don't have it, completely broken down. I don't understand, but I would guess that it has to do something with, whatever you bibliomancy it from old scriptures is. It probably does have a relevance, but it's just they're so goddamn muddy in the first place.
Yeah.
That you would have to dig.
I was open. I want you to know, I was not shutting the shit down. I was open. I couldn't see.
But I don't know for sure, I didn't do it.
Okay, so here are the words that he points to help Sarah from the Bhagavad Gita. I am come as time, the ultimate waster of people, ready for the hour that ripens to their doom. The warriors arrayed in hostile armies facing each other shall not live, whether you strike or stay your hand. I fall silent as layers of meaning wash through me one after another, and my appreciation causes a swelling in my chest. Wonderful, I think. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. The young girl before me nods, understanding the words at whatever level she is able. She knows that the words were spoken by Krishna and that he is speaking to Arjuna, the mighty warrior who has thrown down his arms rather than signal the beginning of a war that will surely scorch the earth and his own family to ash. She knows that Krishna is revealing to Arjuna the truth of how the world unfolds, and she knows that at the end of this conversation, the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna's delusion will be dispelled, and he will launch the battle. But that's probably as far as her knowledge goes. I doubt she identifies herself with Arjuna. It's a theme over and over, to identify yourself with the characters you're working with.
Yeah, and a big part of later, he talks about it, is an understanding that you as a reader should be reading this book, doing that with each of these people.
Yeah. So you're Sarah.
Yeah.
You're the young
Yeah.
neophyte.
Whether or not
You're
it's-
doing all these things, and you're being challenged to get clear on what you're fucking doing. That's all. I doubt she identifies herself with Arjuna, paralyzed by confusion at the start of the Gita. I doubt she equates enlightenment with the direct experience of reality in its infinite form. I doubt she knows that in her own life war is coming and that she is a breath away from giving the signal that will spark the conflagration that will incinerate her world. I look at this young girl and I know she has no idea where this road really leads.
And is using that as saying, you know, if you were putting yourself into her shoes, you should be understanding, you should be thinking that you know, by reading this book, you also have no idea where this path actually leads.
Yeah, there's a warning here.
It's a warning. It's a
Like not a fuck around warning.
Well, and I feel like something I wish I'd mentioned near more the beginning of this, but it's something it's worth mentioning. It's worth noting, I guess, is that Jed says himself in these books that if you gain an understanding of if you're reading about books, if you're reading books about setting your life on fire, you should be careful, because that's what if you're doing that, if you're playing with fire, then you could cross that event horizon on accident with this information into the enlightenment process, which is not anything a regular person would actually ever ask for. So it's a warning, a real warning, and I'm just saying we should be aware that there's all this could happen to us. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, we're aware of that.
Yeah. I'm going to be really interested as I go down this path that you do not seem as undone as these books did to me. Like, these books shattered my world.
I felt when I was reading them that I was finally reading somebody who I actually related to.
Yeah, very different experience, huh?
Yeah, for me, this is like, I don't know, honestly, this process for me is a lot of guru killing. It's important because I'm aware, for you, it was more like this is all this information is destroying and like changing all of these lenses and frames you've had. But like, I have built many of my lenses and frames based off of this information. So we're at opposites in that sense because I was given it so early and it affected me so early, and it's continued so far. For me, I have things I've built up. My understanding of the universe as I've developed from when I read till now has been based on this information.
So do you have an unhealthy attachment to Jed?
Definitely. A year of obsessive consumption of the books as if they're my own personal Bibles.
But you've crossed through to him. I mean him as a person. I don't mean his material.
Yes, definitely, because I relate so intensely to the character he portrays. Which is not, it's a false character, so says something to me. It's not, I sense in myself.
What do you mean by false character? The big one that he's talking about? That we're all false, arising illusions? Or do you think he's not portraying himself? We said we'd stay out of these waters, but now you might as well go in them.
I don't want to have waters that are off limits necessarily unless they're actually wasting time. I guess you're right. That's a good point.
Do you believe he had a composite conversation with the girl named Sarah, something close to this?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. What I'm saying is I understand that I have emotional attachments and relation and identity constructs based on me relating to the character of Jed as he is portrayed in these books. But I am also aware that he is both, in reality and in the books, just a character, and the relation to it, is not healthy and not, I don't know, that's not what I want. I don't know, I feel stagnant, and I feel stagnant because of that. And I have a lot of emotional upsetness and personal upsetness concerning things, from the topics of these. So, yeah.
So, I think we just created a wonderful frame for you going forward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have, I don't know what the
it's-
fuck it is, but you're going to discover what it is and you'll kill it. You're going to put Jed's head on a spike at the end,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Exactly. That's what I want to do, because this is the only way I would know how to do it, and that's why we're
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you have that unhealthy of attachment to him, from what I know of you.
It's well,
Well, his whole material, it's his way of thinking.
Yes, but that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I should think about it more.
No.
But I just. It's, you don't know, you wouldn't notice it because it's like my internal mathematical calculations that that happen in my life are based off of things I think I know. And the whole point of the one thing that I mentioned ignorance earlier, and I want to get detailed into that just right now, which is ignorance not in what you don't know, but what you think you do know.
Yeah.
And I have an enormous amount of ignorance based off of things that I think I do know, based off of reading these books.
Mm-hmm.
And those understandings that I have built stuff on are probably not correct. So if I lived 10 or 20 or 30 more years just consuming and building on these things without ever tearing them apart, then I would be where you are when I'm your age. Without having made progress. Was that insulting in some way? I didn't mean it to be.
Feels mildly insulting.
Well, only in the sense that
you're
you're 40 years older, you're 20 years older than me, or whatever. Does that mean?
Yeah.
I didn't mean it insult. I meant like in where we are in our life in this process.
Yeah, I don't think what you said is true though. But the point to make is that, fuck, I don't know what the point is. Okay, and we don't have. I don't remember where it is. We'll get to it. The Ralph Waldo Emerson or Thoreau quote. Like,
Which one?
we got to dig down to the alluvium, to beneath the shit, and do the math.
Yeah.
And so, at some point,
Yeah.
you have read these books. Okay, this is where you're at. This is your frame. Okay, you're gonna do the math. At some point, you've read these books just like you read any scripture, and went, "That's fantastic. I love it." You resonated.
Yeah.
And then you've tried to build your life on it. But what you never did was contend against it all, tear it down, rip it apart, murder Jed 1,000 times over, and get to the material and own it for yourself.
Yeah, no, you nailed it. That's exactly. That's exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But
yes.
But here's why you won't be where I am in 20 years on this path. I spent 20 years building a false bunch of an edifice, a tower of fucking shit. So these books have been a destructive process to me. I'm still tearing that motherfucking tower down.
Yeah.
And then owning the shit. You don't have to tear the tower down. Just own the shit.
Yeah.
Dig in and contend against it.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay? So you're way the fuck ahead. Way the fuck ahead. Because you're not having to destroy all of the... You don't have...
I have less years of buildup.
Less years of buildup.
Yeah.
Jed even talks about this. In a normal society around 12 or 13, you'd be given a tab of LSD and on your way.
I don't think he phrases it like that at all.
Did you say that, Jed? Wink, wink, right? Said that quite.
What?
That's the end of
Well,
book
but he
3,
did-
right?
Yes, but he does say that the process of human development realistically should occur. It should be a rite of passage. It should be something that happens, through your teenager years,
Yeah.
and what would come out of that. I would say, I just have to say that I feel like, oh my God, I just want to make a point here. Even saying an age like, oh, you should maybe do this when you're 13, completely goes against a real truth, which is that as humans, the way he phrases it, the way humans reckon age is incorrect. It's not attached to bodily time on the planet. It's just
But
where
in
you are
body,
in development.
yeah, but in body time, that'd be about the time to start integrating people.
Yeah, in body time, yeah. But I would say for me though, like I don't know what am I arguing? Yes, I guess I would just say that it's from my personal experience that I don't know if I had gotten this at 13, it would have been great. I'm glad I got it exactly when I did.
Yeah, I think you started off right. I think your biggest challenge, and it's a challenge that we'll confront throughout this, again, owning the math, but your biggest challenge, and I think it's my biggest challenge with this material, right, is, for me, my biggest pull, and I'll be honest with you guys out there, is the financial realities of the matrix that we live in. So,
The understanding of energy flow.
no, I'm talking about diving into this material, opening yourself, flowing, jumping, and then having to spend the majority of your life nose to the grindstone at a job working for the man in the matrix, fucking paying taxes.
Okay, well, I guess, yeah, no, okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? And Jed,
That's the
we're going to
beast-
talk
that's
about
the
this.
beast
Jed
within
talks
the
about the
container.
flow of energy where he doesn't have to worry about money. It's like,
Yeah, but
I have not figured it out enough. I
But-
worry about money, which I don't want to. Because I love this channel, by the way, because I don't give a fuck if you pay me any money.
Yeah.
But yeah, where's that abundance of life? Now I've gotten it in some areas, and I do have some abundance, but I still am not
I think
sovereign.
it's enough to say that you sense you have work in that area.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. And that's like a huge...
I've seen that pain in you too.
Yes. Yes.
That's
I have a lot to say on the subject, but we're not, just in general here's the issue. God damn it. I don't know. We're going to have to figure out how I want to go about talking about things, because there's some things that I could, when we start talking about something, I could bring up another reference to all the different all the different things throughout the books, but we're just reading right here.
Yeah, so let's stay on topic here, because the money issue is going to be an issue.
Yeah, it'll come up.
It comes up many times.
It comes up.
Okay, good stuff. I smile. Unity consciousness is great, I say, and she looks relieved. Mystical union, being at one with the universe, the direct experience of the infinite, bliss, ecstasy, a taste of heaven, beyond time, beyond space, beyond the ability of any words to describe, the peace that surpasseth all understanding. Wow, she says aptly. Her name is Sarah. She's young, early 20s, and I've just pushed all of her spiritual buttons. If I were a guru, that would be my full-time job. I shudder at the thought. Yeah, she rides on it. But that's not enlightenment. Oh, enlightenment isn't when you go there. It's when there comes here. It's not a place you visit and then remember wistfully and try to return to. It's not a visit to the truth. It's the awakening of truth within you. It's not a fleeting state of consciousness. It's permanent truth realization, abiding, non-dual awareness. We're going to dive into that term a lot. Abiding, non-dual awareness. It's not a place you go visit from here. This is a place you visit from there. For instance, I myself am enlightened right here, right now. I am free of delusion and unbound by ego. And although I have had the great fortune of experiencing mystical union on several occasions, I am not presently in that state, and I have no plans to return to it. Nobody resides in a permanent state of bliss, Sarah. That's just something out of a sales pitch. Whoa, she manages. What I'm trying to do here, Sarah, is get you back to square one. You've started off, just like everybody does, in one direction, but an enlightenment is in another. What you have to do now is figure out what you really want. Do you want to dedicate your life to the pursuit of the experience of mystical consciousness, Or do you want to wake up to the truth of your being? Want me to keep going?
Mm-hmm.
She spends a few moments thinking about it and then impresses me with her answer. I guess it makes more sense to figure out what's true first, or else what does it matter? She says, first things first, right? I mean, once I figure out what's true, I can still try to achieve unity consciousness, right? Wow, I laugh appreciatively. Good answer. Yes, figure out what's true, and then you can do whatever you want. Here comes Jed to stomp on her. Good answers aside, Sarah has not really made the decision she thinks she has. One doesn't select truth realization over mystical union the way one chooses soup over salad. In fact, one doesn't choose enlightenment at all. It's going to become very important. If anything, one is more likely the victim of it, like getting hit by a bus. Arjuna didn't get out of bed that morning hoping to see Krishna's universal form. He was just having a bad day at the office when the universe flashed him. Time to pop the ball back into Sarah's court. So you're doing all this spiritual stuff because you want to go in a certain direction, right? She nods. You want to develop spiritually, or grow closer to God, or go to heaven, or become enlightened, something along those general lines. She nods again, looking somewhat bewildered. In short, you're moving, progressing, right? You're heading toward one point and away from another. Another nod. That's pretty much what everybody is doing in the larger sense, wouldn't you say? Moving toward something, away from something else. Another cautious nod, wary, as if I'm setting her up, which of course I am. The thing you'd like to do, Sarah, I'd like you to do, Sarah, is tell me specifically what it is you're moving away from and what you're moving toward. Take your time with it. There's no hurry. Treat it like you're creating your own personal mission statement using those two elements. What you're moving toward and what you're moving away from. Okay? Sarah looks a little panicked by the idea. Hey, I reassure her, no worries, Mon. All we're doing is taking a closer look at where you're going and what you're getting away from. It's not astrophysics. Just file your flight plan in the most economical terms. That doesn't sound so hard, does it? I guess not. It's not a race. It's just life. There is no finish line, no winners or losers. Give that some thought too. It all ties together. Come see me in the next few days and let me know what you come up with. You got notes?
Yeah.
I think that's probably a good place to
It
stop.
probably is also a good place to stop. But, yeah, so again, if we're relating this to, as if we are relating to Sarah in this situation, then in my opinion, this part is a really important aspect of what I was talking about with his concept of this being a complete chapter. Because what he's essentially giving, if you take those, so he's doing it as he's giving somebody instructions, an assignment. If you are reading this properly, you should be giving yourself that assignment the second you read it.
Yeah.
And that's the way he wrote the book towards his ideal reader, which is the sort of person who would do that. So he means it that way.
So you have an assignment.
Yes, but hold on. The point is that assignment is essentially just an assignment for someone to start to think.
Yeah, start to ask questions.
Start to ask questions. To think to yourself and ask questions. So it's just important to recognize that, that instruction.
So here's a good.
That's what that is. That's not. He's not just telling her to do some random thing. That is a massive instruction.
But
it's carried out.
Yeah, but let me add some frame to that, right? Because this is an interesting experience. So so we teach a little process called acceleration, which is and the foundation of it is the power of questions. Is to start to ask these questions, and the questions we ask are: who are you? Where are you at? Where you're going? What do you want? Right? And I've seen myself and a lot of people stumble because they're like, "Who am I?" It's the first question.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yes, that's
like,
a good point.
fuck.
That
You could go like, I'm going to go the next 10 years figuring that fucking thing out. Where am I at? Where do I want to go? All these things become overwhelming. So I'm going to give you some advice right now. I'm putting the teacher hat on. I should get a hat for this, right? Find out where you're going and what direction. Just like he said. But if you don't have it completely, don't worry about that. You'll come back to this question over and over and over again, and you'll recalibrate, and a year from now, you'll be able to look back and go, oh, I thought I was here, but I was actually here. No big deal.
The point is that you looked.
Yeah, you start the process of looking. So don't get caught up in going, I have to find out exactly where I am. Take it seriously.
We're getting ahead of ourselves because he then says the same thing to her later on the hillside.
Does he?
During the fireplace, remember? Because she's crying and he goes, don't you remember? I said no worries, Mom. Because she has the same issue with this. Yeah, so we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I'm not getting ahead of shit. This is important shit. Because I want...
I didn't mean to disparage you. I just mean that's what we're doing. Yes, it is. I accept it. You're right. 100%. Like, I love the idea... I love the connection to saying, like, if you ask the question, who am I? That's an enormous question.
Yeah.
If you just ask the question... where are you coming from and where are you going? That is just the start of thinking.
Okay. So I wanna lay out a suggestion for you.
Okay.
Right? And me. A personal challenge. That we come back and start next week's video with our personal answers to that question. So we're not reading and jerking off. He's talking to Jason. He's talking to Asher. Where are you at and what direction are you going? Just answer the fucking question. You just come up with a short one. I'll share where I am, he'll share where this, and then we'll proceed.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Does that sound good or not? If you don't want to do that idea, say no. If you do, it's a yes or a no.
I feel nervous about it, but that doesn't mean I don't think it's a good idea.
I think you know it's a good idea.
That's probably why I'm nervous about it. So yeah, it's a good idea.
Well, I'm nervous about it too. I just made myself nervous. Why would I give myself fucking homework? Why would I give myself homework, right?
Yeah.
And that way, people following along who are finding use and in this material can go, okay, I get it. Because I'll tell you, the first time I read that, I go, well, that's cool. I just kept fucking reading.
Yeah,
I didn't stop and find out where the fuck I was.
It was the whole. This is why the first chapter is complete. Because if you do, that's the start of the process, and it's really amazing. I don't know. I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to come back with it.
Okay, and here's another big piece, right? Your frame was to do the math. We're starting to do some math, and I'm going to do some math with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Because there's too many things within this that I'll deeply connect with. And I'll also deeply connect over here and also deeply connect. But then the question is like, okay, but how do those stack up?
Yeah.
How do those add? Where are they in the full equation? And my answer is I can't fucking answer that question. I don't know.
You know what else happens with me with Jed? And he talks in the second book about, and I know you recognize this, he talks about the type of conversations that he gets into. No flabby thinking. Hours and defining terms. Do you know the piece I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And like never moving forward until something on this line with someone has been established, right? That's speaking to me because I continually move forward on Jed's material before I've really, like a concept will come up, get me, and I'll go, well, I should probably put the book down for the next year and work on that.
Yes.
And I don't.
This is why I stopped. This is why I stopped habitually consuming them, because I couldn't handle. I knew that and could not handle that anymore.
Cool. I just got that, so you're ahead of me on that.
I'm just sharing. That's where I've intensely. I would say now. Looking back now, especially, I would say that is this. Overwhelmingly been primarily my action with these books has been to consume it and go, God damn, that's really important, and then just keep fucking reading.
Yeah.
Which is why I did that listening thing for a year, because there was, when you read the first time you read through this book, you'll be filled with things like that. But then when you listen to it again, the third, the fourth, the fifth time you hear a sentence, you can get something you've never ever heard before from just reading it the fifth time.
Yeah.
It's dense.
And there is value in that. But the point we're bringing up here now is the fact that we would go, wow, the fifth time I heard that, I got this. This is great. And just let the thing keep going. You never stopped and did something with it.
No pointing. No using our pointy brains on it.
So we're going to be pointy braining. So we're going to wrap this up. We're going to get this uploaded. The assignment, fuck it, I'll just read it one more time, right? Tell me, Sarah, tell me specifically what it is you're moving away from and what you're moving toward. Take your time with this. There's no hurry. Treat it like you're creating your own personal mission statement using those two elements, what you're moving toward and what you're moving away from. It's not a race. It's just life. There is no finish line, no winners or losers. Give that some thought too.
No worries, man.
No worries, man. And so we will see you next week, probably live. We'll get this fucking thing work.
Should be live. It is occurring to me now that with the live, we're not going to be able to pause like we did, and I actually liked having the pauses. So maybe when we're doing we'll just have some scheduled pauses within the stream. If it comes up, we'll just throw on some music and walk away for a second and come back. I'm just saying I accept that already right now.
Those times I had to pee, so I was thankful for that. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Hey, we're going to put all the information down below where you can link this. Feel free to reach out to us, right? And not in a distracting way, but we'll enter into a dialogue with serious people. Gladly. Maybe not.
I'll answer what I'm interested in. Gotta be honest. Here's the
what
thing.
The asshole over here.
No, this is important. I think that it's important that if there's, we are putting our brains on this and tearing it apart and then throwing it out there. And then if somebody sees something or whatever, sees something that we miss or whatever, I would love to see those replies. The issue is forget that we're dealing with the internet. When we talk to the internet, we're talking to anybody who has access to the internet, which is literally on the level of billions of people. So if you incite that sort of conversation, that can scale to an unmanageable degree, is what I'm saying. So if you actually want to talk to us early on in this series right now would be the time to talk to us, because at some point we're just going to be randomly bibliomancing through comments to answer them.
He knows more about this than I do. I think the energy that I was trying to convey, and now I'm recalibrating, was the invitation of
yeah, I did just spoil that. I'm sorry.
Of comments, but I see now that might not be the best thing for this.
Here's the thing. This is what I would say on it. What I would have to say on it is just that there is going to be comments. There is going to be replies. When you make waves in the universe, when you make a splash, it makes ripples. And if we continually make splashes every single week, then there will be ripples and returns. We accept that and understand it, and that's a natural part of the consequence of it. And we'll interact in whatever degree we feel like, but there's no promise or guarantee of anything. That's what I would say.
I agree with that. But I will say that, what's come up was my desire to form community and conversation kind of came up without me thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's interesting. I guess I don't give a fuck whether you comment or not. Yeah. And I don't mean that meanly. I don't give a fuck. I think that's the natural rising piece. And if I need, and just like I'm talking to Jed, like I am talking to Jed here. Hey, Jed, I know you're not going to answer. So if you reach out to me, not Jed, whoever else, and you reach out to him and you make comments, I guess I would say don't expect an answer.
There we go. That's what I'd like to say.
But the universe may bring up an answer, right?
Feel free to reach out.
Don't
Can't guarantee a fucking answer.
And if I avoid the ego, then if the answer comes, it will be because it's supposed to. It'll be an ego-free, integrated approach.
If you're supposed to be answered, you'll be answered. It sounds very high and mighty, but that's how we mean it. So.
Well, Jed does get called arrogant, and we'll probably get called arrogant as well.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. Okay, that was good. First one. You happy with that?
Yes, very good.
Okay, we'll see you next week.